Tim Pool came out with a statement about being a Russian, pro-Russian propagandist, a paid pro-Russian propagandist. It's that the Russian government came out with like a military recruitment ad, and he was like, "Our men are fucking hard, unlike those gay ass losers who live stream every day and paint their fucking fingernails and do makeup and pose in front of cool cars." Yeah. How'd that make you feel? Did that make you proud of me? That I must be a fucking loyal anti-Russian commentator, considering that they fucking called me gay and see me as like an enemy? Because in the same week, the Russian government called me gay. The American government came out with a FBI investigation that should prove to all the dumbest motherfuckers that, like, obviously I'm anti-NATO. I stand on that. I stand by that. But I'm not exactly pro-Russia either, okay? That much should have been clear if you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. So I want to ask the fucking pro-Ukrainian, losers who fucking constantly were like, Hasan is the number one enemy of Ukraine. He's the number one defender of Russia. How many of these motherfuckers spent all this time talking about me and rarely ever talking about Tim Pool and all these other like right-wingers who were literally getting funded by the Russian government to do pro-Russia propaganda? What happened? That's 2 L's in a row. Number one L. Number one L. Russia doesn't know you. Russia doesn't think you're a fucking dissident. Russia doesn't think you're an op. They at least think I'm an op. Number two, you spent all this fucking time shitting on me. Turns out you should have been shitting on the conservatives that were getting paid by the Russian government. What happened? What the fuck happened? 2 L's for the NAFO Andes. Anyway. Yeah, number 3, you're on Reddit, which is an L in and of itself. Yeah, it's not just Tim Pool, it's people with Tenet Media. This indictment alleges that right-wing commentators like Dave Rubin, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and Lauren Southern, as a part of the Tenet Media YouTube channel, have been unwittingly working for a Russian influence operation. 2 people described in the Tenet indictment as unnamed founders were very aware that their operation was funded by Russians. Tennessee Business Records lists Tenet's founders as Blaze TV's host and TPUSA contributor Lauren Chen, a.k.a. Roaming Millennial, and her husband. Now, let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. I have not tried to fuck any of these people in this indictment. But the number one defender of Ukraine, who kept saying I was a Russian fucking dissident or a Russian operative, has. You couldn't have fucking asked them why they were doing pro-Russian propaganda and how much money they were getting paid when you were trying to fuck Lauren Southern or when you were trying to fuck Roman Millennial, when you were doing fucking buddy-buddy conversations with these fucking people, Destiny? Huh? What happened? This is also, it doesn't matter. Vindication or not, it doesn't fucking matter because the people that are so invested in me being a fucking Russian op, like a Russian operative, not a Russian opposition, are so invested in that they will never listen to reason. They've already made up their minds. They've watched all the fucking YouTube commentary videos from these fucking dumbasses who kept saying like I was pro Russia from the jump. Okay? So, you know, they will still continue with that the investment that they've made. But I just want to point out, you know, seems like the motherfuckers who are pro-Russia got. Seems like the motherfuckers who are paid propagandists got. Hasan is a Russian op, but not for financial reasons. It's because he read Dugin and was really moved by it. Yeah, I am famously a big fan of ultra nationalist fascists and their fucking idiotic screeds. You know? Look. They're still doing it. Russia's not going to attack Ukraine. You know who else said that? Zelensky, you fucking idiot. Immediately, as soon as I fucking brought this up, I knew there was going to be dumb fucks in the chat being like, well, you said Russia wouldn't invade Ukraine. Yeah, I said it was an unimaginably stupid decision by Russia that I thought was, you know, something that even fucking Vladimir Putin would not dare to do. I was wrong. I admitted I was wrong instantly. Okay? I was right, however, on the analysis. It has not exactly been great for Russia. Now, one must ask yourself, why are you still holding on to a thing that I said years ago as is this major gotcha? Why? Why? Do you feel like you hold your favorite commentators to the same level of accountability, especially when they've been objectively pro-genocide for the past 11 months? Literally went to the genocidal nation, cut commentary and propaganda that is pro-genocidal nation at literally the genocidal nation? Like, because the comparison here would be if I flew to Russia and did a Tucker Carlson style conversation with Vladimir Putin. Maybe not Vladimir Putin, but with like FSB people, you know what I mean? That would be akin to what Destiny did in Israel. Do a meet and greet with my favorite like Z pushers, you know? But you got no issues with that. And you're still like, yo, remember when you were wrong and you said Russia would never invade Ukraine because it's fucking insanely stupid? It's an insanely stupid thing to do that would backfire on Russia. And it would be unimaginably cruel and unusual for the Ukrainian population. You know. Anyway. Yeah. Remember how wrong I was and how pro-Russia I was because I said Zelensky, while he has the upper hand, should put together or should agree to the reasonable ceasefire positions that he literally fucking came to the table with, the 15-point plan in Turkey. And everyone said I was pro-Russia for that. Seems like that would be a pretty reasonable plan now. But hey, it's all good. I hate you. Okay. A new DOJ indictment that it alleges that RT employees covertly funded and directed by a U.S. company with $10 million in order to push pro-Russia content. The company's based in Tennessee. There is one media company based in Tennessee with the same phrase listed in the indictment. The Canadian entity that owns Tenet Media, of course, is Bitmede. The Canadian entity that owns Tenet Media is owned by Lauren Yu Sum Tam, also known as Roaming Millennial, and Liam Donovan on the board of directors. Or was it Roaming Millennial? Is that what her name was? Am I saying that right? What the fuck was her name? Lauren Chen. You know, people that Destiny is definitely cozied up to over the last couple of years. once again, it remains to be the truth that Canada is not sending their fucking best. They're either sending their worst or they're sending their best in some instances. But like usually in the realm of politics, Canada is sending their fucking absolute worst. So far, if we put numbers on the board, Hasan said Russia won't invade Ukraine because obviously a nation state with 40 million people, it's not 40 anymore, but it was 40 back then, would obviously be impossible to conquer. Okay. And this would be devastating for Russia as well as devastating for Ukraine. Right analysis, wrong conclusion. So that's L number one. Nord Stream pipeline was not blown up by Russian dissidents. Big W there. A lot of L's on the board for those who were on the pro-Ukrainian side. Another big W is I didn't try to fuck any of these fucking losers that were being paid by the Russian government. I would say there's a pretty big W on my end. Pretty big L on the other side for Bonarelli. So, you know, numbers on the board. Probably shouldn't be terminally fucking horny. Sometimes you're going to end up fucking Russian propagandists. That's another L for Jackson Hinkledink, too. Didn't he also fucking fall for a Russian honeypot? I guess Cuccarelli and Jackson Hinkledink have a lot in common on that regard. What else? What else? What else? I was right on the ceasefire proposal. You said I was pro-Russia for saying that. Turns out, you know, I didn't try to fuck a person who was paid by the Russian government to do pro-Russian propaganda. So again, I will scoop back around to that W once again. That's going to be an endless fountain of W's that I'm getting in this situation. Never traveled to Russia like you did to Israel to cut propaganda for the genocidal state. I never traveled to Russia and like hung out with a bunch of like FSB people or do like a fucking meet and greet in Russia in the midst of Russia invading and occupying and destroying Ukrainian villages and towns. So I'd say that's a pretty big W for me on that end as well. A lot of fucking, so Coccarelli and his Hasan hater friends have been pro-Ukrainian because they hate you? Wait, what? No, Bonarelli uses every fucking cause to be as contentious as physically possible to just debate. He doesn't have like any genuinely held convictions beyond the fact that whatever fucking, you know, gets his dick wet or whatever fucking fills his pockets is good for him. You know? You have a huge L that you don't want to talk about at all and always hide it as much as possible. Want to talk about it? Yes, I serve 3-minute ad breaks at the top of the hour. No two-parters. I know. Anyway, 3-minute ad break is upon us, of course. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. I'm not funded by the Russian government. I'm funded by you, as a matter of fact. So that's it. That's the real funders behind this. So unless you're a Russian FSB agent that's secretly gifting subs at the top of the hour, I'm not being funded by you at all. Hasan, did the no free cloud policy go away as it pertains to D? I know you used to say that. Yeah. I think it was like around the 6th month of pro-genocide sentiment where I thought, okay, enough. Enough is enough. It also did work fairly well. I think a lot more people, as he gained more prominence, a lot more people became aware of his presence. And then they were aware of all of the things that he says and does. We still don't really talk about Destiny at all. This was one of those weird reasons because, like, you know, the Ukrainian stuff is in the news again. I think the Finkelstein debate was definitely eye-opening for a lot of people who found him to be this like moral arbiter of the truth or an intellectual giant. So it did not work. He gains more by you mentioning him than you do. No, I mean, I'm going to go back to ignoring regardless, but I think it was important for people to understand where I stand on this. You know, that's it. Getting banned off Kick and demonetized on Twitter, too many L's to count in one sitting. Yeah. Let's continue. The indictment specifies that two of the people who work for this Tennessee company tenant were deceived, meaning they didn't know that the Russian government was running an influence op. Dave Rubin has 2.4 million subs and Tim Pool has 1.37. So the two people that were deceived, I guess, for a license, Kalashnikov Afanasieva, founder one and founder two, worked together to mask U.S. company one's source of true funding, RT, by falsely portraying to Commentator 1 and Commentator 2 that U.S. Company 1 was sponsored by a private investor named Eduard Gregorian. In truth and in fact, Gregorian was a fictional character. Benny Johnson also almost has 2.4 million, but they apparently rounded down from 137 to 1.3 million with Tim Pool, so I figured Rubin's 2.4 million to 2.4 was the same. Helena Shudra shared with U.S. Company One a video of a well-known U.S. political commentator visiting a grocery store in Russia. Afanasieva posted the video in the producer Discord channel. Later that day, producer one privately messaged founder two on Discord. They want me to post this, referencing the video that Afanasieva had posted, but it just feels like overt shilling. Thinks we should put it out there. Producer one acquiesced, responding, "All right, I'll put it out tomorrow." Now, what I find really funny about this is that, like, why are we not doing this for Israel as well? Because that would, of course, mean literally virtually every fucking top-level media commentator would be in the crosshairs in this way. Most of our politicians, too. I'm just saying. AIPAC gets to operate without ever being hit by FARA on a regular basis. What's that about? Bro, you are going to pass some law so you can't talk about it? Yeah. AIPAC just spent $20 million to oust two progressive lawmakers, and Israel was caught running a $2 million influence campaign, but you'll never hear Russiagate stenographers utter a peep of protest. Yup. It's true. It's fucking true. It's true. It'd be quicker figuring out who isn't a shill for the Israeli government. Yeah. Isn't that purely because Israel's an American ally and Russia is an American adversary? Is Israel an American ally? Is it? Do they seem to be operating like an ally recently? Because it doesn't feel like it. I don't know. Just saying. Also, what you're saying doesn't make sense because then Bob Menendez would be free right now. So would Henry Cuellar. Bob Menendez's crime is that he got fucking payments from Egypt, another American ally. So, just saying. Yeah, Eric Adams. in trouble for getting payments from Turkey. Some legwork in this thread on identifying the other unnamed and very lightly masked commentators in this incident. Matt Christensen. Oh, this guy. Doesn't this guy fucking hate me too? I feel like I've seen this guy make videos about me. I remember watching a video of his. Look, all I'm saying is, for all of the liberals who are super pro-NATO, who fucking spent a whole litany of time talking about how fucking pro-Russia I am, even though I fucking fundraised for Ukrainian refugees pretty early on, it seems like all of my enemies who fucking despise me are named in this. So if you have ever found yourself personally aligned with any of those people mentioned, maybe you're not actually pro-Ukraine and instead simply using a horrifying situation like the invasion of Ukraine to your immediate advantage. Ops taking hard L's again. 100 P. Because I spent a lot of my time shitting on these guys. You spent a lot of your time shitting on me and also trying to fuck these guys. Maybe not Matt Christensen, but definitely Laura Ingraham and also Lauren Chen. Or not Laura Ingraham, sorry. Fucking Lauren Southern. God damn, they all name the same too. What the hell? Tim Pool got 100K per episode and Ruby got $5 million per year. That is crazy money, by the way. Once again, grifting to the left is not a real thing. Grifting to the right, however, very, very profitable. Good money to be made there. Lauren Southern, yeah. Russians wanted them to post the Tucker Carlson grocery video, but they always thought it was too obviously shilling. Lauren Chen said to post it anyway. The Russians wanted to blame the ISIS Moscow attack on Ukraine. They got commentator 3 to do it. If Dave Rubin is commentator 1, then I think Johnson is 3, and vice versa. To be clear, whether or not Benny was commentator 1 or the others, neither I nor the indictment are claiming he knew that he was working for the Russians. The question is whether he should have known or suspected is both philosophical and harder to prove. A statement of the Leo. Oh, they all have statements coming out. Oh, they have statements coming out now. My statement regarding allegations of the leaked DOJ indictment. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as the other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are victims. I cannot speak for anyone else at the company as to what they do or to what they are instructed. Let me explain something to you guys, by the way. I get asked to do ads in the political realm all the time. All the time, especially during election cycles. Now, they're not fucking paid propagandists for like a foreign government or whatever, obviously. That would require an additional layer of stupidity. But beyond that, why the fuck are you taking ads from any political operatives whatsoever? Why are you taking ads to be pro a certain political position? Isn't that exactly what you're supposed to be against? Not even if it's like, it doesn't matter that this is like pro-Russia. Even if it was like pro-gun laws or you know, pro-guns, you shouldn't be taking that ad at all. The fuck is wrong with you? You're supposed to be independent media. I am. So I don't do this shit. Aren't you supposed to have your own independent opinion on subject matters? Why are you taking money from a group, even if they're not fucking pro-Russia, even if it was just a regular, homegrown American political group? Why are you taking money from them to say certain things? How should any of your fans ever believe you ever again for the rest of time? Will you be paid for this take? Okay? Or will you actually be telling your genuine opinion on this take? Do you agree if it was a pro-Ukraine ad? Yeah, even then. What do you mean? Even then, if you're a political commentator, you should not be getting fucking paid by pro-Ukrainian media either. What the fuck? Either way. That's why I said if you're a Republican and you're getting paid by like a gun group or whatever, then you absolutely should not be like, even if you're pro guns as a Republican, you shouldn't be getting paid by a fucking political group overall. Never at any point did anyone other than I have full editorial control of the show. And the contents of the show are often apolitical. Examples include discussing spirituality, dating, and video games. The show is produced in its entirety by our local team without input from anyone external to the company.
Clips that everybody's talking about.
This is so insane. America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying.
Was this back when we watched his show when he was like shitting on me for the fucking Dan Crenshaw takes? Anyway, TCW is a separate company not associated with timcast.com or other properties. It exists solely for the production of the Culture War podcast. That being said, we still do not know what is true, as these are only allegations. Putin's a scumbag. Russia sucks donkey balls. And to the journalists who wish to jump the gun, create their own narrative, or lie about what is currently going on, you can eat my Irish ass. Tim, if you're serially so fucking stupid that you didn't realize the 100K per episode you demanded to spread Russian propaganda wasn't coming from Russia, the DMV needs to revoke your driver's license and you can't be trusted with household appliances. I don't get it. Like, I just saw a guy giving me $100,000 to say nice things about Pootie Poo, and I took it. Like, what? I think Tim Pool, now that I know his educational attainment, like, unironically might be that stupid. The only funny thing about this is that, like, paying Tim Pool $100,000 to be pro anything is automatically a waste of resources. Lest you ever think actual people pay to listen to Tim Pool, 90% of all of their revenue literally came from Russian shell companies. No, this is like one aspect of his entire production, I think. Yeah, Tim gets multiple revenue streams. Tim himself gets revenue from his own channels as well, so the Russian money wasn't 90% of Tim's revenue. I think it was 90% of his revenue for the one entity that he created. Wait, what? He got paid $100,000 per week? Oh my God, bro. $100,000 per week?
But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine.
Hey, yo! What? Yeah! Yo, this is so awesome. This is awesome. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, by the way, $100,000, bitch, you would be screaming like that too. $100,000 a week? Don't even. $100,000 a week, you'd be fucking screaming. You'd be like, I hate Ukraine. So Disney's a fucking homosexual man. Oh my God, bro. $100,000 a week, bro. That's crazy.
They know it. But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine. They are expanding this war.
Wait, why is Ukraine, bro? Bro, this is like mathematically the worst position to arrive at. Okay? Like, what do you mean? Like, people say I'm a fucking shill for Russia because I'm always like, bro, we need to fucking do a ceasefire. America's interests in Ukraine are not genuine. All they want is the continuation of fucking war so they can like dump all of their older weapons. Like, ultimately, we need to come to the table and do a fucking ceasefire. Like, I never once would say Ukraine is the enemy of Russia. That's insane. Bro, they got no autonomy in this. I'm sorry. The people on the Democratic Party side that consistently talk about how, like, well, this is what the Ukrainians want, are literally just fucking straight up lying. Because if everyone in Ukraine said, no, we don't want to do war, what the fuck? We need to do a ceasefire immediately. We hate being fucking slaughtered. Okay? America would still be like, okay, well, you know, what if it was okay for a couple more people to get slaughtered, you know? Because we really like the situation right now that we're in currently. We love that you guys have fucking, you know, destroyed half of the Russian artillery, you know? So, I mean, it wouldn't take much before the CIA literally fucking puts a psychopathic, like rabid right-wing ultra-nationalist in power if Ukraine actually changed trajectory, I think. Just saying. But again, this proves the point that I was making, which is giving Tim Pool money to be pro anything is such an L for whatever your cause is, dude. I love that.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know you've got criminal elements of the U.S. government pushing them and guiding them and telling them what to do. Ukraine is now accused, a German warrant issued for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, triggering this conflict. Ukraine is the greatest threat to this nation and to the world.
What?
We should rescind all funding and financing, pull out all military.
Okay. This is actually really instructive. Okay. Why did he say triggering this conflict? Bro, they blew up the Nord Stream pipeline after. That's number one. And number two, here. Literally, I think he's reading a script. Like, this is instructive. Match what he's saying here with my commentary to understand the difference in opinion. Okay. If you want to know what someone who is like pro Russia shill, literally getting paid to be pro Russia, versus someone who's like, yeah, nah, dog, I think it's probably America that blew up the fucking Nord Stream pipeline and not motherfucking Russia. Okay, because it makes zero fucking sense whatsoever. It's still like, even when people used to clip the thing that I talked about with like the Crimean bridge, Ukraine blowing up the Crimean bridge, I used to say, yes, it is still an attack on largely civilian infrastructure and therefore could be considered an act of terror, but it's still born out of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So it's still ultimately in the hands of Russia. They would, of course, clip the second part out and say, Hasan says blowing up the Crimean bridge is a fucking an act of terror. I would literally compare it to what Russia does in terms of like attacking civilian infrastructure, which is unjustifiable. They would clip that part out to make it seem like I was simply saying that Ukraine is doing terror or whatever. Okay? There's a difference between that, my analysis, which still lends the blame in the hands directly of the responsible party, Russia, versus this guy being like, Ukraine is the number one enemy of America. Ukraine has a valid interest in freeing their borders of a serial violator of their sovereignty. It is the most moral and understandable and fucking righteous cause. our interest as the United States of America in Ukraine, not exactly in the same level of infallibility. Just saying. We just want to offload our shitty ass, old ass fucking equipment so the goddamn military industrial complex can turn a profit, all while not a single fucking American active duty service member is harmed in the process. It's a win-win. Insane to call Ukraine your enemy. How the fuck are they your enemy? They were invaded, dog. Like, yeah, they were just sitting there looking pretty, waiting to be fucking invaded by Russia. They are the enemy. The biggest enemy. Bro forgot about like all the other things that he could be talking about on a daily basis, like China or Iran. Also stupid to say, but like Ukraine being the biggest enemy is fucking awesome. I love it. I say right-wing grifting is obviously an incredibly fortuitous endeavor. Okay? And this proves it once again. This motherfucker was a Russian asset. Now, before people say, Hasan, you like certain people that used to work for Russia Today. I do. Abby Martin used to work for Russia Today. Back in the day, Russia Today was not the Russia Today it is now. It definitely still had those same elements. Okay? But pre-invasion of Ukraine, Russia Today used to do this very interesting thing where on the 1 hour, or they would have like someone who is like militantly anti-imperialist. And then the next hour, they would have someone who is like insanely right-wing. Okay? So just so you guys understand, like their goal was to cause as much chaos and confusion in American politics. Of course, that's the point of their, media campaign in general. It makes sense. America does it all the time. What do you think Voice of America is? But having said that, there was a time when Russia Today had like the funniest lineup of commentators, where they would have like the anti-imperialism hour with like Abby Martin, followed up by like, are the Democrats transing the youth? All right. What? I've clipped your actual take on Ukraine. A serial violator of their sovereignty. It is the most moral and understandable and fucking righteous cause. Our interest as the United States of America in Ukraine, not exactly in the same level of infallibility. Yeah, Lee Campen is another person. Dude, I love this shit. Benny Johnson, oh my God, this comeuppance is fucking fire, dude. Some trans influencers on Twitter, or by shitting on random leftist influencers who also had a lot of smoke for me. You know what I mean? That's because I am not a deeply unserious person who's only invested in the drama. Okay? Just remember that. Know beside whom you stand, and know who a man presents himself as the enemy of. I mean, I am an unserious person, but just not a deeply unserious person. Exactly. I wouldn't say I'm a serious person either. Anyway, great stuff overall.